Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Cragen, and I am the AmeriCorps Seniors Program Specialist here at USERV Utah, and I'm going to briefly discuss confidentiality in your senior companion service. So, when you signed up to be a volunteer, you signed a statement saying that you understand that in your capacity as an AmeriCorps Seniors volunteer, you may come into contact with confidential information, and you agreed to protect this information to the best of your ability and not disclose it to anyone during or after your service as a volunteer has ended. And so, what is that confidential information? That could be the client's name, their address, their living situation, whether they're alone or with a caregiver or a spouse, or a phone number. And we ask that you do not post pictures to social media, even with the client's permission, because pictures are considered private patient information, and people would be able to identify the client, even if you didn't share the client's name. And so avoid social media or sharing pictures of the client with others. And your role as a senior companion to your client. So this is tricky because we love when you tell people that you are an AmeriCorps Seniors volunteer, that you're a senior companion. But if a person is inquiring regarding the client of like, why are you there? Like a neighbor is asking, hey, I see you here 3 times a week. I'm just curious what's going on. You don't need to tell that person that you are a senior companion or a volunteer assigned to that client. You can just simply say that you are a friend and be vague and call it at that. You could be brief and abrupt and polite at the same time. And so there's going to be uninvolved individuals that might inquire or that you might be tempted to share information about your client or the fact that you serve someone. Don't share the client's name or any identifiers that someone would be able to reasonably figure out that the client is your person. And so you are a guest in this client's home and a trusted individual. And so you need to protect their privacy and respect it. And so, who are the appropriate individuals where you do want to share this information with in an appropriate environment where you have concerns or there's an exchange of information? That could be with USERV Utah staff. If your program coordinator has questions or the program manager is conducting surveys with the client directly, you don't need to know that information. But if you have concerns, you can always talk to your program coordinator about the client's well being or your station supervisor if they directly work with the client. And so that designated representative could be the client's social worker or their hospice nurse or anyone that directly works with them. And you again have concerns or really need to protect the client's well being, or you have questions that the client can't answer. And so the client's family members is a tricky situation as well, because if the client is able to make decisions clearly, consciously, um, like has that ability, then the client's permission is needed to discuss this confidential information with the client's family members, even if they gave their emergency contact or if they have a living caregiver. If a legal guardian is involved, it's likely because the client is not able to make those conscious decisions on their own because of an age related illness or comorbidity. And so if you're concerned about the client, and you are unsure if you should share it with the family member, talk to your program coordinator. And especially in cases of abuse, whether that's from the caregiver or another family member or a healthcare worker, anyone, neglect or self neglect, which is basically the client is deliberately or refusing to take care of themselves, that's significantly disrupting their well being, or there's self-harm involved or a threat to self-injure, we want to discuss that with the program coordinator and report that in partnership with the program coordinator to Adult Protective Services. And even if a family member who is like quoted to be involved is denying the situation, we want to trust the client and always involve this third party of Adult Protective Services to again protect the client. And so there needs to be a legitimate purpose for sharing information, and that purpose is to protect the well-being and privacy of your client. And so gossip, opinions, she said should not be shared, especially with individuals that don't have that legitimate purpose for needing that information. So that could be your friends, your family members, your neighbors, the clients, friends, family members, anyone that shouldn't be involved. And so, thank you so much for your help and in trying to protect the client's information. And of course, always ask your program coordinator any questions or concerns. Thank you so much and have a good day.